Hello, dear colleagues. My name is Al Mohammed, and today we have a fusiform aneurysm of the left middle cerebral artery, a young female patient with no medical history. This is the list of the materials and devices that we've used. We've used an HPC-coated flow diverter P64. And here we have the 3D angiogram of the aneurysm. And this is the 2D angiogram. And the aim of the intervention is to implant the flow diverter from this M2 segment retrogradely to the distal M1 segment of the left MCA. And here we go. We push the NeuroMax long sheath with the penumbra select catheter into the short femoral sheath. And here we're configuring the select catheter, and now we're trying to navigate the left common carotid artery. This is it. And now we need the Terumo guide wire to get a little bit distally because of this very hard curve. We need a roadmap, and now we take the Terumo wire and push it into the select catheter. And now we have straightened the common carotid artery, and we are pushing the NeuroMax long sheath to the base of the left internal carotid artery and take the select catheter with the guiding wire out of the long sheath. And now we have here the intermediate catheter, Sophia 5F, and we can push it into the long sheath NeuroMax. And we have here another very hard curve. That's why we will pass it with the microcatheter and microwire. Here we're preparing the microcatheter with the microwire. We're pushing the microwire into the microcatheter. And now we're shaping the tip of the microwire to get along the curve. And we're pushing them both into the intermediate catheter. We've passed the curve, and now we're pushing the intermediate catheter distally. Here we've taken the microcatheter and microwire out of the intermediate catheter, and now we need an overview angiogram to see the anatomy. And here you can see the fusiform aneurysm of the distal M1 segment and proximal M2 segment of the left middle cerebral artery. And now we will perform a 3D angiogram to plan our work position. And here's the 3D angiogram. And now we push the intermediate catheter a little bit distally and take our work position based on the 3D angiogram. We inject a little bit contrast agent to see the anatomy, and we can adjust our work position further. And now we have the angiogram after adjusting everything. And here we can see the fusiform aneurysm of the left middle cerebral artery freely. And we have the way that we are going to navigate. And now we need the microcatheter with the microwire again to navigate the left middle cerebral artery, including the aneurysm. And now we're pushing the microwire into the microcatheter. We need a new shape at the tip of the microwire, a little bit sharper than before. Here we're shaping the tip of the microwire. With the right shape, you can pass the aneurysm quickly and safely. And here is the microwire with the microcatheter. The microwire is now in the aneurysm, and we place the tip of the microcatheter a little bit distally to get a base, and we're trying to navigate the M2 branch after the aneurysm. And now we've reached the distal M2 segment, and now we push the microcatheter along the microwire. And now we remove the microwire after reaching our destination. And now we measure the size of the flow diverter that we need. And we perform a 2D angiogram to see the anatomy after placing the microcatheter to compensate the anatomy shift. And here we have the flow diverter. And if you work alone, you can make a loop with the insertion sheath of the flow diverter, just like that, and you can push the flow diverter through the loop while you're holding both ends of the insertion sheath. And now we pull the insertion sheath a little bit back, and we can work with the pusher of the flow diverter. As you can see, distally, we have the olive of the flow diverter, and the dark segments of the flow diverters are the real flow diverter. After pushing the flow diverter, we have again a little bit anatomy shift, and we are trying to pull the microcatheter at the distal end of the flow diverter, and now we need a 2D angiogram again to see the anatomy after this massive anatomy shift. And here we can see the anatomy a little bit better. This is a single shot to see the flow diverter better. And now we are starting unsheathing the flow diverter. We've reached now the middle of the flow diverter, and we need again a single shot to see the materials that we've using. And now we've reached the no return point, and now we've unsheathed the flow diverter completely. We make a single shot again, and now we're pushing the microcatheter into the flow diverter. As you can see, there is a narrowing in the middle of the flow diverter, and now we're trying to correct this narrowing. We've pushed the microcatheter along the way to the distal M2 segment of the middle cerebral artery, and now we will push the intermediate catheter, Sophia catheter. As you know, it's very, very soft at the tip, and you could do it very carefully. And as you can see, we've corrected this narrowing at the middle of the flow diverter. And this is a single shot to see the flow diverter better. And now we can pull our materials and devices back carefully. And now we're pulling the microcatheter and the pusher of the flow diverter back. And now we can see the results of the flow diverter implantation and the flow diverging effect. And this is the blood stasis in the aneurysm. And now we pull everything back. And we need an overview to see our results without materials. And now we need an overview to see that everything is okay after finishing our intervention. And as you can see, everything is okay. All branches are good. There is no occlusions and no extravasation. And we have a blood stasis in the aneurysm immediately after implanting the flow diverter. And now we've finished our intervention and we're pulling our catheters out of the patient, enclosing our puncture with the angioseal. And as always, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below. You can contact us with email to email addresses, and further contact options are in the video description below. Thanks for watching. That was Al Muhammad. See you next time. Peace out.